Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Tigers have been in search of power and production lately, and Mikey Matuk has stepped forward to supply it. Last night, he accounted for all three of the Tigers' runs in a 5-3 loss to the Twins. Today, he and the Tigers try and salvage the final game of this 3-game series with Minnesota right here on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon at Comerica Park and only here on Fox Sports Detroit. Hi, everyone. Alongside College Football Hall of Famer Kirk Gibson, I'm Matt Shepard. Mikey Matuk has done something that I don't think many people thought he could do. He comes up since being sent down for a second time, and he's been very productive. What's he proving to you?
I tell you what, he's proven that he's a much better ball player than I thought he was. He's really developing. He did get sent down. That was hard. He was pressing it early in the year. He's come back. I've never seen him swing the bat as good as he's swinging right now. He's put the work in. You got to give him credit. Big triple last night. Since his recall, he's bringing it. We talked about pulling the parachute around the league right now in Major League Baseball. Some guys sitting on their averages. Mikey's not sitting on anything. He's out to prove it.
Yeah, he told us earlier in the week, look, I'm just a lot more comfortable right now. I'm not sure how comfortable Spencer Turnbull will be today in his Major League starting debut. What advice would you give to this youngster?
Well, just go out and have fun, do what you know how to do, and he's got a good catcher in James McCann behind him, his coach, and Andy's going to tell him to chill out and be good. 23 starts in minor league baseball this year, over 4 levels. Fastball, curveball, change, and a cutter. Is actually his 4-seamer cuts. His 2-seamers really hard to keep track of. 10 Ks per 9. That's the good news. The bad news is he's got so much movement, it's hard for him to control it. He's learning about it. You saw there in the picture his hand was shaking.
Yeah.
Mine shakes for a different reason. He was nervous, and he's ready for the audition. 16 starters used by the Tigers this year. Will he be one of them next year?
Spencer Turnbull, no doubt, talked with Matthew Boyd for some advice. Later on in our show, we're going to talk with Matthew Boyd when he puts on the headset to talk about his season and what else drives him. You'll be inspired. But up next, Mickey York inspires us from the Coliseum Studios. More of a preview on today's matchup between the Tigers and the Twins. Stay with us.
opener today, which means he'll pitch an inning and then give way to the bullpen. On Monday, he didn't allow a run and just one hit. This will be the 4th time he's opened a game for the Twins this season. Hi everybody, Mickey York with you here in the Call Sam studio. The final game of the series between the Tigers and the Twins coming up here from Comerica Park shortly. Steven Gonzalez will be the Twins' primary pitcher this afternoon after Moya gives way. But no matter who it's been, the Tigers have had trouble scoring runs in this series, just 4 total through the first 2 games. So we are thinking they're poised for a breakout this afternoon to back rookie Spencer Turnbull on the mound today. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by Meridian Care, Medicare Advantage plans.
As the Tigers and Twins get set to wrap things up here at Comerica Park in their 3-game series. Today's Tigers starting pitcher is Spencer Turnbull, presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. We've seen him once, Kirk Gibson, but today in his normal role as a starter. What do you expect from him?
Yeah, I expect a good game. He's got good stuff. I misspoke in the open. He'll be the 13th starting pitcher that the Tigers will use. The most impressive thing about him is the home run numbers. 4 home runs in about 100 innings in Erie. For example, Sandy Baez allowed 19 in about the same. So he's been good about that. He's got great movement. Needs to learn how to control a little bit. but excited to watch him pitch.
Here's the Twins batting order presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Jorge Polanco bats second. He's 4 for 8 in the series with a homer and a double. Tyler Austin is hitting just .204 this month, but he went 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs last night. And Willens Astudillo is behind the plate today. No strikeouts in his last 34 plate appearances.
Yeah, he makes contact. McLaren Health Plan brings you the Tigers starting defense. A little different. Mikey Matuk gives Cassidy a day off in right field. Jacoby in center. Kristen Stewart in left. Ronnie Rodriguez, Pete Kozma, Lugo, and Aducey across the infield. McCann is catching the youngster Spencer Turnbull.
Stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game, where we will select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Mikey Matuk was that selection last night in a 2 for 4 effort with 3 RBIs. The 69th day game played by the Tigers this year. A deep breath from the rookie Spencer Turnbull as he focuses on the designated hitter Logan Forsythe.
It was a couple weeks ago. I watched Spencer throw a game down in Erie, and I thought, man, this guy's got good stuff. He's got some juice too. He can bring it up 95 plus if he needs to. You'll see the 4-seamer will cut a bit at times. The 2-seamer really runs.
Tapper back up the middle. Lugo was right there.
There you go. Nice sinker right there. Ate him up. Let's take a look. Look how loose his arm comes through. It's just good late movement. Look at that. That's a heavy sinker, 93, 94 mile an hour.
His dad, Jim,
liking it.
Yeah. Boy, he was thrilled in Cleveland, man. 3 batters, 3 outs, and Turnbull told us how nervous he truly was, but he sure didn't look it. Matter of fact, he threw 11 pitches to 3 batters total. 7 of those were for strikes. At some point he'll settle in, though, Gibby. When will we notice that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's right away. Sometimes it takes a while. You know, if he can find the strike zone and find his rhythm, that any pitcher will settle in. So nobody wants to get in trouble right away. Hopefully he won't have a high impact inning here where he's got to scramble to get out of the inning. You can see right now his motion is very slow, very deliberate. You know, he's just kind of cruising along, but that can all change real quick.
And he'll rely heavily on James McCann today, won't he? McCann caught him in that frame in Cleveland. And you won't see much head shaking from Turnbull today. 2-2 now to Jorge Polanco.
Real nice, heavy 95 mile an hour sinker right there. You can almost hear it hit the glove. He almost blew James McCann's thumb and hand up in that first game in Cleveland. Paul really surprised Mr. McCann.
Yeah, he said it was electric.
Stinger.
Just low, full count.
Jerry Lane behind the plate. He's probably known to be more of a hitter's umpire, but he'll go both ways.
Popped up to center. Jacoby Jones is there for 2 down.
Let's take a look at Jerry Lane, veteran guy, wide outside corner and narrow inside corner strike zone. Or low strikes, which we just watched. That's good for Spencer Turnbull.
Why would it be more slow strikes to lefties than righties, do you think?
So a lot of it has to do with the way they set up, just the way they track balls. And I can't really give you an answer. This is just what the data shows.
Jake Cave playing center field today for Paul Molitor's club. 2 for 8 in the series with a couple of runs driven in. Checked his swing, but it was in there, and it's an 0-2 count now. Time now for StatCast, AI powered by AWS.
The Tigers are properly aligned. You can see third base is up the middle where a lot of balls are hit. Twins had a pretty good day against the Shifts yesterday. Tigers did not. but overall the Tigers doing very well with their shifting.
And just Mikey Matok's RBI single late was really good against the shift. Hit it the other way. Got him looking. That's an 11 pitch first frame for the rookie. That combination. We head to the bottom of the first. Here's the Tigers batting order presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Jacoby Jones makes his appearance in this series for the first time. Ronnie Rodriguez 1 for 7 against the Twins so far in the first 2 games, and DeWalt Lugo trying to snap out of an 0 for 10 slump. Today's Twins starting pitcher is presented by MGM Grand Detroit. We should be used to Gabriel Moya. Saw him a couple of days ago in what is considered an opening pitcher.
Yeah, scheduled to go maybe 1 inning, and then they'll get on with the big starter. We'll talk about that. It's a strategy that's being used around the league, kind of founded by the Tampa team. The Twins are putting it into their playbook as well. So the theory is he's going to shut down. Their hope that he can shut down the Tigers lineup. If it goes quick, he may pitch another inning. If not, they will bring in the next pitcher, who they're trying to avoid that 3rd time through the order, because that's been shown that the 3rd time through starters give it up more than usual. Steven Gonsalves is going to be the next pitcher, but the first inning is when a lot of damage is done. Slugging is at its highest, more than any other inning. You buy into that, Chef?
Well, it's worked for Tampa. They've got 84 wins. I don't buy into it. I don't necessarily like it, but Minnesota feels like they've just got a couple of guys who are hosses and are really good starting pitchers. And Paul Molitor has forgotten more baseball than I'll ever know. So,
well, they lead the league in ERA, as you said. Let's take a look at the Minnesota Twins defensive alignment. Robbie Grossman in left, Jake Cave in center, Max Kepler in right, A-Ray Andriaza at 3rd base, Jorge Polanco at short, Gregorio Petit is at 2nd base, Taylor Austin 1st base, Willens Astudillo is catching Gabriel Moya. Boy, wake up, Tom.
Christian Stewart goes deep but way foul.
So teams score more in the 1st inning and slug higher in the 1st inning than any other inning. Okay. So any matchup advantage to be gained is worth the weirdness, is what basically they're saying. the pitcher can get deeper in the game without facing the order a third time. That's not the opener. That's the second inning pitcher.
Kristen Stewart gets hit.
Looked like he was a little irritated there. Boy, Stewie. Stewie took him deep foul. Moya came back with a little up and in.
Is this a major league move here by Kristen Stewart? Did he get hit?
Yeah, he got hit.
Okay. That was close. That brings up Nick Castellanos. A little bit of a struggle last night, but when you're batting .394 against lefties, best in the American League, you can forget about some struggles from the night before. Hard to suggest he's struggling in general. 4 for 7 in the series. First pitch is in tight. Would you suggest that starters are better pitchers than, I don't know, relievers who are coming in to, you know, take their place in for an inning or two? I mean, generally, it's a generic term, but
They're two totally different type players, and it's almost a different position the way I look at it. But they're trying to come in on the front half and match up with the top 3 or 4 of your best hitters. They feel Moya is the guy to get them out. And you've got Jacoby, who's hitting 180 against lefties. Kristen Stewart is a left on left. Nick crushes him. And Mikey not hitting lefties as well. So I guess he's trying to match up at the top. And then he's trying to play on a theory that it's better for your starting pitcher to go after the opener.
Gotcha.
And I think, you know, it's an uncommon thought right now. I mean, 10 years from now, maybe everybody's doing it. I don't know.
Castellanos fouls it away.
But
yeah, and Tampa, look, to your point,
I'm open to it.
It's worked for Tampa. Their ERA has dropped a full run since they implemented the opener start. Now, of course, it helps when you have Blake Snell.
Oh, yeah.
Who had picked up his 20th win last night. So there are certain guys you're not going to do it with. But if you're a little light on the back end of your starting rotation, how is it hurting? So I understand that side of it. I'd just like to develop a good 4-man rotation if possible.
4-man.
4-man. To short and off the glove of Jorge Polanco into left. A base hit for Nick Castellanos. And the Tigers got something brewing early.
So if a pitcher can get deeper in the game without facing the order the third time through, okay?
Well, what have you always told me about facing the order the third time?
You're going to, a hitter's got more of an advantage than they had the first two. But those who face a pitcher a third time slug more than 60 points higher than they did facing him the first time. So you kind of, you know, you're kind of going to school. Did you see that at bat was 17 pitches? Who had that 17 pitch at bat? That was
last night, you're saying?
It was Rizzo.
Anthony
17
Rizzo?
pitch at bat.
Yeah.
So by the time he got to his third at bat, he was pretty well schooled. Although they pulled the pitcher. But I think as a hitter, that's why one of my beliefs when I was a hitter was first at bat, nobody on. I would always probably take maybe till 2 strikes. Now this was later in my career. And here's why they do it right here. Favorable matchup in the first.
Yeah, like you said, that primary pitcher can work a little bit deeper.
But you know,
it seems like it's out of fear.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not into that mental mindset right there.
Well, you've seen where pitchers struggle in the first inning only, right? I think one of the.
I don't know. Spencer Turnbull was pretty good in the first.
He was.
Daniel Norris was pretty good in the first yesterday.
But there are pitchers around the league that struggle in the first inning, and then they're saying, "What do you do? Have him warm up longer, have him sit down, and then get back up." I mean, they give him all kind of different things to do. So I'm not saying it's golden, but I'm saying I'm open to following it and see what transpires.
Yeah.
You got to be open, don't you?
Yeah, you have to have an open mind for it. Because if something's not working, you got to be willing to try it, right?
I think so.
1-2 now to Mikey Matuk.
And a lot of it may be depending on how your pitching staff is overall. That fan just grabbed. Sorry. Always got something going on over here.
You do. Got the IFB, the bag, and the timeout called by Mikey Matuk, who had a really good game last night. 2 for 4, had that triple to the right center field gap to drive in 2. Then with them playing the shift against him, he drove it the other way, beat the shift by going to the opposite field for an RBI single.
Well, how about when Tony La Russa started hitting the pitcher 8th? Remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, he did that. He thought that out because he was trying to give Albert Pujols more opportunity to drive in runs from the bottom of the lineup, putting a better hitter closer to him. Yeah, that works.
I think somebody in the National League still does that. I think it's Joe Madden.
Madden does, yeah. How about Chicago? 30 games in 30 days. The last of 30 today.
2-2 pitch. Checked it. And it's full.
That's Jordan Baker down there at first base, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a good race, by the way, in the National League Central you're referring to. The Cubs just 3.5 up now on Milwaukee. Tigers will see the Brewers to close out the year. Foul back. Mott took at least 1 hit in 13 of his last 20 games. And as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, told us just feel really comfortable right now, not putting as much pressure on himself. Felt like he had to carry over the late success last year into early this year, and you got to have some fun. That's what he's doing right now.
This is, as I said, this is the best I've watched Mikey play overall his whole game. He looks really polished in the outfield. He throws the ball good. He runs good routes. He runs the bases well. And he's impacting the ball with the bat. You can see they're shading him over towards the right field. After that triple yesterday out there, they probably didn't know that he had the pop out there.
Second triple of the year for him. 10th multi-hit game for him. To short, Polanco. And they twisted it. Tigers put some traffic on the base paths, but a double play erased it.
High pitch, Spencer Turnbull. What a great inning he had. Look at, he's got the movement on that two-seamer. I think he threw one curveball in the inning. He goes through the order 1, 2, 3. Now, if you're James McCann, you got to say this sinker is unbelievable. And he's keeping it down. I would just keep with it. Dad's happy so far.
So is Spencer.
Long ride, Dad. 4-seam, 2 of those, 9 sinkers and a curveball. His curve was good. He dropped in there as well.
Product of the University of Alabama. I was mentioning to him yesterday that the big debate that many of the Tigers had in the clubhouse in Cleveland on Saturday when college football was taking place. I said, I noticed you didn't really get involved in that conversation much because your team just seems to go out and steamroll everybody. He just smiled. Talked about winning championships, the various quarterbacks who have led Bama to that. A.J. McCarron, for example. He said their current queue is the best they've had. I had to remind him of Kenny Stabler and Joe Namath. After all, Spencer Turnbull is young.
I was going to ask you who you thought the best was. You think it's Stabler or Namath?
It's probably Namath at Alabama.
The Snake?
Yeah, Snake was Stabler. Yeah, there's a poke to the left center field gap, and good job by Kristen Stewart to cut it off and gets it in. Now, you notice the throw from Kristen Stewart. Now, Pete Cosmo was out there getting ready to take that relay. What did you think of the throw, Gibby? Because this is something that Ron Gardenhire has been preaching with his young outfielder and talking about his team in general.
Well, I'm going to be picky here, but he's got a reverse pivot here. So right here, he's got to turn around this way when he fields it if he can. And if Gene Roof's watching, go ahead, let it go. Instead, he opened up. He reverse pivots, be a little easier throw, but his arm has been fine. He's thrown out. He's got several unassisted assists, meaning he gets an assist with nobody relaying it. He throws pretty good. He's worked hard at it, but right there, that was footwork.
Yeah, it's more about hitting the cutoff man for Ron Gardenhire. Nothing. He said one of his biggest pet peeves in all of baseball is when his outfielders are throwing over the cutoff man or the cutoff men aren't in the proper position. It's fundamentals. And he told us before the game, I cannot wait till October 8th. He's taken his entire staff. They have their organizational meetings, and they will talk about doing the little things right. Max Kepler is ahead in the count 3-0.
It's just like in the infield, we were talking about footwork right now. You're seeing Turnbull right here. He's got the first guy on. It's always interesting to watch to see if anything changes, and it has is a 3-0 count. But as far as relay throws, you've got to learn everybody's arm. So, for instance, like really, I only threw the ball maybe 100 feet, 120 max. Sparky had Lou and Tram right out there because they were better throwers. I had to have a good arm. But at 1 to 120, I was very accurate.
Right.
And I used to come out and practice with Mike Henneman, our closer. We'd play a little game. If I hit him in the face, it's 2 points. In the chest, 1 point. We'd play to 20 or whatever.
Kind of like Ram pick the stick.
Yeah. Well, I won that one though. I used to beat Henny. So, but you've got to adjust. It's like different players need different signs from a third base coach because some don't get it. So you got to understand where can they be accurate at. Looks like.
But the point is, you hit the cutoff man. Lou Whitaker had, by the way, one of the strongest arms of his generation.
Right. It took me a while.
Rocket. But yeah, so that's what his point is. His point is, even if it's a good throw, and I asked him, what's the fine line of a guy letting him throw all the way through? And he says, look, if this headed toward the cutoff man's cap, it should be strong enough to get there. There goes the runner, and Kepler breaks his bat. So as long as it's on target, he's okay with it.
Well, ideally, the ball's coming in to the glove side of your cutoff man. So this ideally shoulder, I'd say shoulder to chest high. You've got your glove on. For me, it'd be right hand, and you've seen guys turn double plays really quick at second. That's how it should be. You should hit the glove. You put it up there right, like I said, shoulder to chest high, out to the side of the glove. They're going to get rid of that quick. And they have their momentum. Here's a double play right here.
Runner goes, and another walk. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in tonight's game. All right, now as a manager, you don't feel too bad because you want to see how Spencer Turnbull handles some adversity, and he's getting it here in the second with the first 2 runners on. And Tyler Austin up. He went 2 for 4 last night with an RBI.
Yeah, it's tougher out of the stretch, you can tell. Turnbull was out of the windup really nice and deliberate, had good mechanics, and now he's struggling to find him. But you got to fix it. That's what happens. Things go wrong, you fix them.
He's already thrown 14 pitches in this frame, more than he threw the entire first inning alone.
Austin taking all the way, trying to put the pressure. He just saw the walk. That's not such a bad move. Saw the walk, said, I'm going to put the pressure on you to throw a strike.
Tap to third, foul.
But Gardy, in your comments about what he's saying, he's being very outspoken. He wants to make sure the message gets to his team, his players, and the organization, because this is an organization. You work on so many things in spring training and instructional ball. The follow-up is what's tough.
Yeah, he called it about concentration. Concentrating, hitting the cutoff man is how he phrased it earlier today. Turnbull misses wide. Actually says Castellanos is doing a much better job in that role, throwing the ball down.
Not overthrowing it.
And accurate, right.
Well, but you give Dave Clark some credit because you see him out here every day. We're out here early doing our scorebooks. And there's Clarkie out there with Nick and the other outfielders, and they're working on it.
Good backhand stab by McCann. It's 2-2. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Ron Gardenhire said as much. Really important to hear other voices tell you. You don't always want Ron Gardenhire making the statement. When it comes from Dave Clark and Lloyd McClendon and Ramon Santiago and others on the staff, then you know that it's even that much more important. It's a philosophy.
But Nick has a longer carrying arm than I did, so you have the cutoff man be.
Single to center. Grossman coming hard. Jones, the throw, not in time. And it's 1-0 Twins.
Well, he gets behind in the count. He's just coming down the middle right here. Good swing on it, right up the middle. Jacoby's coming hard. Well, here's an example of what Gardy doesn't like. Well, stop it. Right. He can stop it right there. Ducey did a good job of jumping up to make it look like he was going to catch that ball to keep
Otherwise,
Austin at first.
Yeah, otherwise Austin's standing at second base, right?
You can't allow that guy to go to second base ever. Not this early in the game. They got the run. I mean, there's very little chance of throwing the runner out from center field at home. But there is a chance to keep that double play in order, and that's what they've done.
A-Ray Adrianza stands in.
Okay, so we're going to look. The ball's going to come in. It's going to come right over. You watch. Ducey's going to come in here and cut it. Go ahead, let it go. Didn't quite get the shot we were looking for there.
Adrianza goes the other way, but it's foul.
He was trying to go that way, wasn't he?
Looked like it. Career high numbers for the Twins third baseman. Games played, at bats, hits, doubles, homers, and walks.
When I was coming in through about 12:30, big table with familiar looking faces, lots of scouts, right? They all got there. The scouts get like they'll have like the Twins or they'll have the Tigers. They don't just cover the Tigers. They cover Toledo. They cover Erie. They're down to Lakeland. They're at West Michigan. They're down to the Gulf Coast League. They cover the whole organization, so they're finishing up their reports and their books. So it's really important for everybody that's on the field. There's a lot at stake.
Adrianza goes the other way again, but foul.
Now, we've watched some of the Twins in this series so far try and go against the shift, and it really looks like he's just really staying on this ball, trying to hit it to the left side of the field.
You brought up scouting. You and I talked the other day to Don Kelly, scout for the Tigers. They do scout the entire organization. They're given a certain number of organizations to scout. You don't have every team, obviously. You're scouting.
No, you could
break
never
up
do
your
that.
scouting department, right? Just so people understand it. There's the 1-2 pitch. He goes the other way and gets rewarded for it. 2-0 Twins as they string together 3 hits and a walk.
Well, again, it looked to me like he was just trying to go that way the whole time, just trying to go where they weren't. And you have to be willing to make your adjustment if you're the Tigers defense. You got to give him some credit.
Tigers face off against the Royals on Friday at 7:10. Stay after the game for the last Friday night fireworks show of the year. For tickets, visit tigers.com. What do you think Rick Anderson's message is to Spencer Turnbull?
Well, I think he's throwing kind of defensive now. The ball's more elevated. He came out early. He was keeping it down. As soon as he got a guy on, it changed for something changed for him. So it's just trying to relax him, get him to slow down again. That sinker down 94, 95. All those balls that are really base hits, I think they're all ground balls. So he has the ability to do that. But this is tough. 6'3", 215. See, he's from
Demopolis, Alabama.
He had a birthday yesterday.
Yeah, just turned 26. Well, we'll talk with Matthew Boyd during our broadcast coming up and ask him his thoughts on Turnbull and maybe some advice he gave him. Willens Astudillo stands in.
This guy does not swing and miss.
And he doesn't strike out a whole lot. Double play depth for the Tigers infield.
Listed at what, 5'9", 230 pounds. Catcher. Hasn't done a lot of catching. Good power. But he never really strikes out. His miss rate is 8%. 8 swings at 59 bats.
Pretty darn good, isn't it? 5 multi-hit games in 21 games. There's the numbers on the Twins catcher.
Yeah, and when he swings, yeah, look at
ratio at the bottom.
When he swings, it pitches out of the strike zone. He hits him 86% of the time. A lot different than I was, that's for sure. It's good on a hot day. Good breeze.
Chopper foul. Turnbull in need of an out here.
36 pitches. So this has been quite a different inning. Wonder how long they'll let him go. How many pitches? And who's next in line? So when the pitcher has nobody on, things are going good. There's a good pace, right? No, it's just the opposite.
0-2 pitch. Sliding stop by McCann. Turnbull did have 23 starts at Toledo. Had a complete game. More than a strikeout per inning. Didn't walk many either. His ERA with the Mud Hens below 4. Astudillo swings and fouls it.
Not going to give in, I can tell you that.
That's what young pitchers find out quickly. Major league hitters are here for a reason. They battle for the most part. They make you work, and they make adjustments.
Called the balk. I didn't see it. Wasn't watching. What did he do?
He come to a complete stop? Maybe not.
Well, that's kind of picky.
See it?
And I'm not really sure what that was. I mean, many times umpires will give him a warning.
No argument from Turnbull.
I don't know if he double started or something.
I don't think. I think the umpiring crew thought he failed to stop.
No, he stopped.
Two and two.
That's upsetting when you're a pitcher.
Yeah.
You get a balk.
Shakes you a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, I'm surprised he didn't ask him what he did. Maybe I'm just missing something, but he stopped or was close to stopping, and like I said, umpires normally would warn him.
To short. Cosma with the only play. Plates another run, though. That took the double play opportunity out of it with the balk. Hey, Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports app. Download the Fox Sports app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you. Made available by Oakland University.
I mean, he's throwing 95, 96, two-seamers. He gets it down. That's very, very good, good pitch.
The number 9 hitter, Gregorio Petit, anchoring second base today. 11 of his 13 hits on the year against righties. Tigers with the infield in.
No, he's going on contact. The guy at third.
Cosma's toes are touching the infield grass. He's in really tight at short. Long inning for Spencer Turnbull.
So a lot's going on around the field. Look at right here, Adriana. Just trying to mess with Turnbull's inner relaxing mechanism. Oh, that was a good one, Gibby.
Well, just trying to get him off his game a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Just do a nice pick over there.
Tapped to second. Lugo forced to go to first, and another run home for Minnesota.
So this is what happens when you go in contact. When you see a guy swinging and he goes, you just head right out. You're walking down. You're trying to get not stopping. Pretty good technique. The Tigers did not have a play at home, so they had to take the out.
Well, even with the infield in, Minnesota's able to find a way to scratch one home. 4-0 Minnesota. Here's Logan Forsythe at the top of the lineup. Didn't miss by much. Forsythe playing his 28th career game against the Tigers. Career .265 hitter against Detroit. 1-1. At some point, you hope it becomes just another game for Spencer Turner.
Well, he's at 36 pitches this inning. He's getting to the end.
Looper to right. Matuk calls everybody off. Minnesota with 3 hits and 4 runs. Ronnie Rodriguez tries to change that in the second when we come back. The big money encounter and the reason why Paul Molitor is starting to use an opener rather than a primary. You see the numbers there, Gibby. What do they tell you?
Well, there's not, I would say, a ton of information right there. I mean, it looks fairly even to me, honestly. I mean, after a year of this, I guess it might be more information. Does it tell you anything?
Not really, and that's why it makes me wonder, why you use the opener versus the primary. The primary is Steven Gonsalves.
So I think they're trying to get used to it, and they're implementing it, and they'll make adjustments as they go. What does it tell them? I'm not sure.
Look what teams are batting against him. 353, wall side windows pitching change. Rodriguez with an easy grounder to third. Brings up James McCann. Had the night off last night after going 0 for 3 in the series opener.
Now they went lefty, opener, lefty, replacement, right?
You got lefty opener here, lefty replacement in Gonsalves.
So it seems like you might do it differently, though. Like it almost seems like 2 innings would be better than 1.
Yeah, the assumption was that if Moya got through the first inning quickly, then he might be granted a second inning. But he did have Stewart and Castellanos on there, but got out of it with a double play. So hard to tell exactly what Paul Molitor was thinking.
But if you're Paul Molitor, you have the 2-pitcher thing going. And the Tigers, what do they start? They're starting a different lineup for a lefty, a different lineup for a righty, probably, correct? So it seems like if you let the opener guy go longer, you could gain an advantage on the back end. You want the advantage early, or you want it later?
No, I get it. And I think you're right about that. If the Tigers had more options, I think Ron Gardenhire's really limited with his options. Jamer Candelario last night a back issue. Nico Goodrum still not available. Jose Iglesias is done for the year. How many choices does Ron Gardenhire truly have? Not many.
Well, see who he's got on his bench. I'm going to assume he's got 5 switch hitters: Candy, Nico, Victor, Martinez, and Victor Reyes.
Yeah.
And Salty. He's got Grayson Griner, so he's got 3 catchers. You know you got to keep one of those back. McCann's down.
Although Nico Goodrum not available, so.
Is he?
No, he's not. Jim Adduci takes on the Twins today by AARP. He's torn up Twins pitching this year. 9 games played, 12 for 36, 3 extra base hits. Two for 8 in the series. Oh, and 2 to him.
Coming in throwing strikes. Stefan Gonsalves. A little taller than Moya. Likes to come up and in when he gets ahead to the lefties. He did the same thing to Kristen Stewart.
Adduci batted .329 in the month of August. Kind of carried it over here into September, having a strong finish.
One of the scouting reports is that he doesn't command any of his pitches. He is today.
Little tapper to second. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Steven Gonsalves. How do you beat the shift? Well, Jorge Polanco had an answer. We'll explain when we come back.
Look at over here. Jorge Polanco last night, he went and he beat the shift. Tigers are playing the shift right out to the other way. And you can tell, look at this shot. It's just taking what they're giving to him. More and more players are doing it. Tigers had a bad night last night. The Twins beat them, but you got to tip your cap. It doesn't mean that you have to change, but you do need to be alert today if they're going to try and do it again, that you switch some things up.
A little different defensively against him here, his first or second time up, than last night. You saw an all-out shift against him last night.
Well, they're kind of over there to pull again.
Well, they are, but Don't you think Ronnie Rodriguez is a little bit closer to third than he was last night?
Yeah, they do that until 2 strikes. He's trying to go that way, definitely.
To center, tailing away from Jones. He surrounds it, and there's 1 down.
But if you want to beat it, you can do it, right? You got to wait. The thing is,
Yeah.
you got to wait for a pitch that you can hit over there, and only you, the hitter, knows what you can do.
And we saw Montook do it, as we mentioned earlier.
Who did it in the 9th inning as well?
For Detroit?
No, it was.
Oh, I think it was Tyler Austin. Might have been Tyler Austin. Not sure.
No, it was Jimenez.
Oh, Chris Jimenez, sure. Jake Cave is batting just .220 on the road this year. .317 in his home ballpark, which is where Detroit will be next week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday series against the Twins at their yard. Good pitch, but it was low. 1-2.
Turnbull, a clean first inning, 4 runs in the second. Now everybody wants to see what's he going to do this inning here.
Grounder to Cosma, playing on the second base side of the bag. More importantly, Turnbull had a 37 pitch frame in the second. Much more efficient through 2 batters here in the third. Here's Robbie Grossman. He's the trouble starter. Singled and scored to lead off the second.
He's been on 5 out of his 6 at bats here in the last 2 nights that we've been here.
And a couple of doubles in the series.
3 walks last night. Then he got hit too, didn't he?
Playing his 20th career game here in this ballpark. Hitting a little better than .260 here in Detroit. It's a good looking jersey.
Mr. Tiger. Oh, nice pitch.
1-2.
He's come back pretty good this inning. Turnbull back down to the zone with that good sinker. See, that ball's really swinging back.
Tough one to hit.
Grossman gave up on it. Now he's not missing bats. Getting 2 strikes. You're getting guys that are just fouling pitches off. Want to put him away. He's got the stuff to do it.
1 strikeout so far here today. To right center. No problem for Jacoby Jones. Spencer Turnbull has retired 6 in a row. A clean third. Matthew Boyd and his wife Ashley made a big announcement yesterday. He's going to fill us in on their new nonprofit when we return. World Series champ Kirk Gibson, Johnny Kane, I'm Matt Shepard. Matthew Boyd joins us from the Tigers dugout. Hi, Matthew. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Is it Matthew or Matt?
It's whatever you want to call me.
I figured
call me
you'd
late
say
for dinner.
that.
Yeah.
Why have you been so much more effective this year, especially striking batters out, do you think?
I mean, it's just, you know, as Gibby told me, you know, this it's a process. This guy, hey, ball's crushed. Oh.
But right at the left fielder,
Yeah.
Robbie Grossman.
This game's a process. It's and you know, obviously some people, you know, pick up faster than others. It's been a curve for me, and you know, attacking with my fastball. Nice swing, Loogie. Attacking with my fastball, down in the zone. You know, getting strike one, being able to command my breaking ball to both sides of the plate. You know, commanding both breaking balls that way. It's been huge, and it's opened up a lot of things. You know, with you know, you can command multiple pitches on both sides, and in the zone, it's it opens up, and it's tough for a hitter to, you know, kind of keyhole you.
Yeah, folks, Matthew Boyd is 6th in the American League in opponents' batting average against at just .216. You and your lovely wife have launched Kingdom Home. What is that?
Yeah, so we just launched Kingdom Home. It is an organization. Well, it's a nonprofit that we just started. We have a home in Uganda that has rescued 36 girls from ages 8 to 14 from the sex trade and different things within the sex trade. So, you know, forced child marriages. Some have been rescued from brothels. Some have been rescued from prostitution rings and other, you know, horrible things within the sex trade. We've rescued them. We've brought them into a home that's a refuge. You know, they all have their own bed. They have clean clothes. They have food. They have an opportunity to get an education now. Our goal is to never age them out. You know, give them vocational training down the road, pay for university, and you know, it's the start of something that we believe could be something much bigger. But we're very grateful for the stone that we have, you know, the little step that we have right now.
How did this idea come about? This is a very unique purpose for you and Ashley.
Yeah. Well, it started out, Ashley's degree is in political science, and she's always had a heart for social justice. And this is, when we got started, she worked for an organization called Remember New. She was able to work from home and be able to still work, you know, in this field that she loved, which was the same thing that we're doing. That kind of got us our start. She felt called to go a different direction last year, and you know, we kind of booked a trip to Uganda out of faith, not knowing what would lead from it. And sure enough, what we have is it came about. You know, long story short, we have a home in Uganda now through this, and
wow.
It's amazing.
That's incredible.
So, you were telling me the other day about how much it costs per home you have.
Yeah.
You want to expand,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna have to throw a pitching mound if you're going to be over there helping out, right? You got to throw a mound in down there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we're going over Thanksgiving this year. I don't know if I'm going to be on a mound at that point. Might be a little early, but I think we can find a long enough space that I can toss a ball around with someone, and yeah, it'll be pretty fun.
How can we help, Matt?
Well, thank you for asking. Basically, one of our keystones in our thing, there's a normal give button on our page, kingdomhome.org, but one of the keystones of our organization is sponsoring a child. If you go on our website, you can see all the children that we have in the home, the grade they're in, how old they are, their picture, and at any level between $20 and $120, you can sponsor that child. And, you know, it'll kind of put you in contact with that child as time goes on, and, you know, you're just providing for all their needs and, you know, helping grow the kingdom, and, you know, just letting them live a normal life. And that's the most amazing thing, and it's really special.
It's really moving. It really is. I mean, you talk about inspirational. I think I think it's phenomenal what you're doing here. You're going to go to Uganda. Have you been there before? And if you haven't, are you prepared for what you're about to experience? Because reading about it is one thing, seeing it might be totally different.
100%. I've never been there before. My wife has. She's done mission work over there before. My wife and I, though, did go to Thailand with Remember New to see our own sponsor child a few years back. And we went to Bangkok and Chiang Mai, and we saw kind of the horrible side of the nasty part of how kids kind of get sold into the sex trade. And we saw the red light district where there's advertisements for children. It's horrible. And then we saw the kids in their home being kids, with their innocence, just living life, being children as children are supposed to be. And it really hit home, especially having a child of my own now. No child should ever have to go through the evils of something like that. So, if we can do a little bit to make it better, hopefully it can permeate. Hopefully that people can, want to make a difference in their own way too. And we can end sex trafficking. We can end the sex trade, and give these kids something back.
Well, we know this, that your teammates Castellanos, Green, and McCann have all pledged to be among the first to sponsor children through Kingdom Home. We hope people can do the same through the website. Matthew, congratulations on a wonderful venture. Thanks for all the time, and we wish you and your lovely wife Ashley all the success with this.
Hey, thank you, Shep. Thank you, Gibby. Thanks for having me on, guys.
You're watching Tigers Baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Induction ceremony Friday, September 28th at the Soundboard at Motor City Casino. Join us as we celebrate Detroit native and former NBAer B.J. Armstrong, former Michigan State running back T.J. Duckett, and many others. Tickets start at just $25. Go to the website, mshof.org. Max Kepler, first pitch swinging. Can of corn to Kristen Stewart. Now here's Tyler Austin, who's come up big against Detroit this year. Not just last night and earlier today, but overall this season. Against Francisco Liriano earlier this summer. Finds the seats. Then at target field, he goes yard. He's got some power, and he puts it on display right there, too, against Mr. Carpenter. 3 homers for Tyler Austin against Tigers, and those are the only 3 homers in his 11 career games against Detroit.
3 out of 11. I mean, it's 30 home runs. If you played 160 games, so he's off to a pretty good pace. Tigers are going to have to find how to get him.
Combined, what, 1,300 feet? Not bad.
Got some strength.
Sure does.
Tell you, when I go down in the visitors clubhouse, usually before a series starts, the weight room's down there.
Yeah.
Boy, everybody really gets after it nowadays. Which they always have, but it seems like there's more participation and better techniques and better results.
Spencer Turnbull gets his first swing and miss of the day right there on Tyler Austin. Barely missed. It's 2-2. When you talk about weightlifting, do you think, I mean, do baseball players kind of tailor it throughout the season, kind of peel it back a little bit as the season progresses?
Yeah. You know, back in the 80s, we snuck weights in a back room from Sparky.
No kidding.
We snuck them in.
Why? He didn't want you doing that, huh?
Didn't believe in him. You get all tight. You're going to get all tight. You get too strong and all bound up.
Too bulky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when by the 90s, you know, they really started to improve the facilities. And nowadays, the workouts have just a CNI single right there.
Another base knock. He's got 2 for 2.
Let's take a look at Spencer Turnbull's day. First inning, 3 batters, 3 outs, 12 pitches. That second inning, 37 pitches, and he gave up 4 runs. Third inning, not so bad, and here he is in the 4th. Seeing eye leadoff single by Tyler Austin.
Adrianza stands in, RBI single, and he scored in the second. See how Turnbull handles the base paths busy again.
Yeah, he did not handle it well. He got one guy on, and he struggled.
1, 2, 3 in the first, 1, 2, 3 in the third. It was that second that provided the hiccup.
Needs to get a double play ball.
That'd be nice.
So, you know, how do you do it? You see the ball running off the plate. And, you know, if you're missing on one side of the plate, you've got to change your angle.
He's had 4 ground balls today. This one scorched down the right field line, headed for the corner. Austin is going to hit the bag and try to come home. Matuk hit the cutoff man. Lugo couldn't hold on to it, and that allows Austin to score with a head first slide. 5-0 Twins.
Well, there's an example right there, and Gardy's not going to be happy about this. What he's been talking about. Got to make a good throw, and you got to catch the ball first. Actually, Austin was going to stop right here. Mikey goes down in the corner, pretty good job. Secures it, turns around, throws it. It's a little low, but missed that ball, and that allows Austin to score. That's giving him a run and lets the runner move up. He's got his hands up perfect. You can see him, he was stopped down there at the bottom.
Well, it's a good example of what you were talking about a little bit during our broadcast last night, Gibby, and that is some of the fundamentals that are required to play this game on a regular basis. And then what you get is you get a lot of fans wondering, even in Little League, I was taught to hit the cutoff man.
Yeah, well, it's easier said than done. So
right.
Where does that play go wrong? The cutoff man was Lugo.
Pounded to left. Stewart on his horse, and it's going to be off the wall. Another run will score for the Twins. Stewart's throw into second, not in time. And the Twins now lead 6-0.
What I'm seeing is it happens quick.
What's the leash on Spencer Turnbull right now?
Well, they're going to get somebody up pretty soon. Just a pitch that kind of hangs up and in. That pitch, that sinker down, is much more effective. But you got to give the Twins a little bit of credit right there. Adrianza brought his hands in and hit the ball off the wall.
And Astudillo did the same thing, and that is a strong young man who continues to hit the ball hard against Detroit, and really since he's been called up. Well, Fan Appreciation Weekend returns to Comerica Park this Friday through Sunday when the Tigers host the Royals. Select fans will win special prizes throughout the weekend, including game-worn jerseys from Tigers players on Sunday. For tickets and more information, visit tigers.com. Rick Anderson with that visit to give the bullpen a little more time to warm up, you think, Gibby? Spencer Turnbull has thrown 72 pitches. Buck Farmer warming in the Tigers' pen. Gregorio Petit from the right side. Turnbull got the first out of the inning, and then the traffic created some issues. Austin with a single, Adrianza with an RBI double, and Astudillo with an RBI double. Ron Gardenhire right now is talking to Nick Castellanos about hitting the cutoff man. I'll guarantee it.
Yeah, he's not going to let it go. He shouldn't. But there's several elements to executing it properly. You've got to secure it, throw it, catch it, transfer it, and throw it again. You've got to have your head on a swivel. You've got to be open to redirect. Somebody may be saying 3, 3, 3. They may be saying home, home.
It's a deep conversation that has Castellanos intently focused. I like that about Ron Gardenhire. He takes the time. You know, the action's going on. He's got coaches who can help him there. His job is to teach right now. He's trying to get a message across. And his hope is that guys like Castellanos will be able to deliver that same message to others. And Castellanos will. Scalded foul. It's a process. And I think sometimes we forget that process because of the success this organization has had for so long with veterans. And now when you get younger players, there are reminders every single day, aren't there, Gibby?
Yeah, but what has to happen is everybody has to understand the vision. Then they have to buy in, and they have to do it themselves. They have to regulate it themselves.
There's a key out for Turnbull, his second strikeout of the day.
Here he goes. There you go. And where's that pitch been, right? That's nasty. If he can duplicate that, that will certainly help. Well, I think Gardy's doing the right thing. Let Spencer out there work his way through it a little bit. He's going to benefit, I think, greatly from that. As I said, he has good stuff. 3 2/3 innings right now.
Well, it's a fine line for a manager, I would guess. When do you go get a young pitcher? Because you don't want to destroy his confidence. When do you want to let him fight through some adversity?
They've been through it. They've been out there, what, twice? I think he probably said, hey, look, we're going to we want you to stay out here. We want you to fix it. Gonna
maybe finish the inning.
Yeah, just relax, throw like it's nothing. But again, they're sizing everybody up. There's a audition going on every day on this diamond where the Tigers play for next year and beyond.
10 different Tigers with their debut this season at the major league level, including Spencer Turnbull.
Well, if I was any of these guys, I would listen to what Gardy and his staff is telling you and get it down, because the ones that'll do it will be the ones that'll be on the team and playing.
I talked with Matt Hall this morning, and he was still talking about the experience he had, even though he was roughed up, the learning experience, and how he embraces this process. Forsythe to center. Turnbull is out of it, but not before the Twins score 2 more. 6-0 Twins. If Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring in a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow. Get a free small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your newspaper or on the Tigers page at foxsportsdetroit.com.
We need 3 homers. A couple guys on, huh?
Right, that'd help a great deal.
Get back on top.
Nick Castellanos has been on. Singled his first time up. 5 for 8 in the series for the Tigers' most consistent hitter this year. Team leader in every significant offensive category. It shows you just how difficult this game is. We've seen him all year long. We've seen him grow. 4th in the league in hits, 4th in the league in doubles, 3rd in the league in multi-hit games. Grounder to 3rd, and yet at 297, there's a high throw, and just in time.
Got down.
With good footwork by Tyler Austin at first.
Pretty conventional play there, just a bad throw, and he got his foot down just in front of Nick. That's where you talk about good first basemen, why they're so important. Up and down, they got to have the good footwork on the balls in the ground, in the dirt, up the line.
Austin's been good, drafted by the Yankees in the 13th round. Came to Minnesota in the trade for Lance Lynn. So the Twins, it's an interesting dynamic with these two franchises. Everybody assumes Minnesota is rebuilding, and maybe they are. They've got some young guys, but they're not necessarily going all youth, are they? They've traded for some guys who have some major league experience and are hoping that the transition allows them to stay a little bit more competitive without having to hit the floor, if you will.
Yeah, everybody, you know, do you declare a full rebuild, or do you just kind of try and do it as work in progress? I think you can go either way. It just depends on the time frame and how good you are, really. I mean, if you want to make a couple quick moves and you've got a pipeline underneath you as well. I mean, there's different situations and different times to do different things.
Yeah, I've always wondered what the definition of rebuild truly is, because I was talking with Red Wings coach Jeff Blashill and assistant general manager Ryan Martin about that very same thing. People think the Red Wings are in rebuild mode, and they'll probably have 3 youngsters make their opening day squad. Nice high hop for the shortstop and a wide throw, and another nice play by Austin after Polanco rushed it. Polanco gives him a smirk. Hey man, thanks for helping.
Yeah, that's 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can see the ball as a runner, you can lay out and get low and try and get out of the way there. Mikey had his head down, trying to get there as quick as he can. They definitely got the tag on him. But I would say the Tigers in a full rebuild.
I would too.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
it's full, so you know, you have, I mean, if you look at our lineup today, it's a lot of new faces that are looking for opportunities.
Yeah, specifically Jones, Stewart, Rodriguez, Lugo. Young guys, not much experience, if any, until this year.
Well, Ducey does have a ton of major league experience. I mean, Nick has about the most experience. McCann has some.
Yeah.
Cosma does.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's some role players in there as well. So you're trying to build a nucleus of players that are going to control, I guess, the way they play the game. And the Tigers are in the process of turning that over right now.
Tigers go 1-2-3. What's it like to be married to a major league manager? We'll hear from Ron Gardenhire's wife next.
BP'd all the kids, and you've been part of it?
I do.
You remember me chasing you one time, and you were running, and I threw and hit you in the back on purpose?
You hit me. You did. You did that on purpose because you wanted to see my reaction. You thought I was getting a little too arrogant out there.
You were getting too arrogant, and you were going over your skis trying to be the bad boy, so I really did hit you. That was kind of fun for me at the time, just because I needed you to calm down.
Yeah.
You were being a showboater. You were only 6.
Sounds about right. Sounds about right.
So how about that? There you saw Toby Gardenhire, Ron Gardenhire, and how about little Ronnie Gardenhire? He's got the same smile as his grandfather, and Carol Gardenhire, of course, Ron's wife and Toby's mother. It's an exciting time, obviously, that we've got an opportunity, that you've got an opportunity, not just to watch your husband manage, but here in the Twins dugout, here's Toby getting called up and an opportunity on Paul Molitor's staff. How proud are you of just kind of the young man that Toby's become?
Oh, I'm so proud of him. He's done so well. He's done well.
He knows his stuff, and even Ron was saying, he said, you know as much about baseball as I do, but Ron says he's got a couple of years of experience on him. But how neat is their connection, kind of that father-son bond through baseball?
Toby is Ron. They are the same thing. I will call and I will ask a question to Ron, and then I'll ask Toby the same thing, word for word. They always answer the same thing. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's kind of scary.
Well, it's a beautiful thing, and both guys have had success, obviously. You know, Gardy was mentioning yesterday, he was joking around that he says, you know, I've won more than 1,000 games in the bigs, but I've also lost more than 1,000 games. So he says he's kind of seen it from both sides. But did you always know that Toby kind of was destined to have a life in baseball?
Yes, absolutely, from the very beginning.
What was it about him where you felt like he was geared to that and wanted to follow his dad's footsteps?
Well, he just was into it the whole time. And from the time he was like this age, he would come to the ballpark on Sundays and play with his dad, and just everything was about baseball for him. And so, and he lived it, so I don't think he really had any choice.
I know he's had some great memories he talked about, you know, shagging balls and playing catch with Kirby Puckett and some of the great Twins players. And little Ronnie here, I know Ron was saying how getting to spend time with his grandbabies, as he calls them, his grandbabies, he said, it kind of makes the sport of baseball seem small at times. How neat is that family aspect that maybe some fans don't get to see?
It's really very special, and having the whole family here was really something special for me. Do you think I got any pictures? No, but it's really cool. It's both his sisters, they said, we're coming when they heard about it.
That's cool. So I know it's a Gardenhire family affair. I do have to ask you, young Ronnie, who are you rooting for this series, the Tigers or Twins?
Twins.
Don't say the Tigers.
The Tigers.
Exactly. That's what we thought we heard. Go Tigers. Thank you, Carol, and thank you, young Ronnie. All right. Have fun, you guys.
Say go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Whatever Grandma says, right, Johnny? Smart.
That's just
smart boy. Yeah. He learns early.
So, you went to Tiger games, or you went to baseball games when you were a young
Tiger
kid?
Stadium, yeah.
So what's the oldest, the farthest memory you have? How far back?
Ooh, I don't know the specific year, Gibby. I just remember keeping score with my father, sitting in the stands, the smell of Tiger Stadium, the look of Tiger Stadium, the chance to watch players, and just wishing I could be out there with them. I can't say the first year I knew.
Well,
I remember going to Cobo Hall for Pistons, Cobo Arena, I should say, and I remember going to, Tiger Stadium, obviously. And
you remember the green seats?
I do, sure.
Then they made them blue and orange and all that. They redid the outside.
I remember going with my friends and sitting behind some of those poles that they called obstructive view, but it didn't matter to us.
How about, did you ever go to Bat Day?
Of course. Good job beating the shift there by Grossman. Bat Day, Helmet Day, those were highlights.
Banging the bats. That's pretty good by Grossman right there. It certainly looked like he was going the other way again. Tiger's in a shift, partial shift right here, and he just hits it where they're not. Good attempt right here to cut Grossman down, but he runs too good.
Did you ever go to Tiger Stadium to watch the Lions play?
Yes. Remember that. The way it was set up in the field right there.
Who was it? AT Taylor, Mel Farr, guys like that who you watched?
Well,
Greg Landry.
I mean, I don't know the years that they all played. I watched Greg Landry. I watched Mel Farr. Yeah, AT Taylor. Can remember that?
Charlie Sanders.
I can remember the gentleman that passed away. His name is it Hughes?
Yeah, Chuck Hughes.
Chuck Hughes.
Yeah.
That was sad.
Died on the field of play.
Mm-hmm. What other venues can you remember? Any others, like when you were really young? I mean, you remember the zoo. I mean, you probably went to the zoo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The zoo's been here forever.
Went to the old Chrysler Arena and Jennison Fieldhouse. Went to both those. Pop up to center. Jones got a late start, but the Twins go quietly here in the 5th. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Did you see this last night? Game tied at 2 in the 10th. Chris Taylor hits a walk-off homer to left. LA beats Colorado 3-2. That was his first career walk-off. He hit it with 2 strikes on him. It extends the Dodgers' lead in the NL West to 1.5. They got through a Clayton Kershaw struggle. He struggled with 5 walks in the game, but it now bumps LA's lead to 1.5 over Colorado in the NL West. And more, or just as importantly for the Rockies, they're now 1.5 back of St. Louis for the second wild card spot. Milwaukee owns the #1 wild card spot.
Remember when St. Louis was losing to us? How dire it was,
yeah,
and
Detroit beat them 2 out of 3
in a week. They're a little over a week, 10 days later. Now they got the upper hand on the Rockies. The Rockies, they lose Trevor Story. Does he have the surgery or not?
He was out last night. I don't think they've lost him for the rest of the year, no.
And the Dodgers were back 3 games about a week ago, and now they're on top. So this is going to change daily. It's a very, very good races around baseball.
Yeah, big problem for Colorado last night was DJ LeMahieu and Nolan Arenado combined to go 0 for 10. Tough to win when you're two of your best players. Charlie Blackmon is a really good player. Trevor Story a really good player, but tough to get the job done when those 2 key guys struggle like they did last night. It's fun, man. It's really fun with what's going on in baseball. There's a lot of really good races.
Going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, sure looks like it. Two and 2 to James McCann. Struck out swinging back in the 2nd. Stroke to right.
but perfectly positioned
Good
was
at
Max
bat.
Kepler. Last night, Aaron Judge returned to the Yankees starting lineup, Gibby. Returned to a standing ovation before his first at-bat since July 26th.
Here comes the Judge.
There they are. Did go 0 for 4. New York did hang on to beat Boston, and that prevented the Red Sox from clinching the AL East. It's just a matter of time for Boston.
See Judge going for that short porch there in the Yankee Stadium?
Is that what he was doing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe he was shortening his swing a little bit.
Well, he was, but he was going for that short porch.
His team did 10.5 back. They've got 92 knockouts, and they're 10.5 back in the East. Because Boston is just on one of those rolls. I was reading an article earlier this morning about Boston and some of their great teams of all time with 103 wins, what they're possibly destined for.
Will
the
it continue?
depth of their lineup, yeah, the depth of their lineup is incredible.
But they're one injury away from being very susceptible, and it can happen to any team. You have a year like Boston had. This kind of reminds me of the '84 team that we were on. There was a real fear that we weren't going to finish it out. Sparky worked very hard to keep that out of our minds.
How challenging is that for a manager when your team is kind of cruising along? You want to keep the edge. It's sort of like, well, remember when the Colts were possibly going for an undefeated season and Jim Caldwell decided to say, you know what, that's not the most important thing for us. Didn't care if they lost. Many people thought that was sacrilegious. How do you weigh that as a manager on keeping the pedal to the metal and kind of laying off to make sure your guys stay healthy?
Different managers try different things. You know me, I'm pedal to the metal.
Yeah, you are.
Look who's talking up there. But, Tony La Russa, I know he was pedal to the metal. I talked to Jim Leland. Remember they won the division. They had time off before the World Series. What do you do? And I've talked to Hump a couple of times. That's something that he always reflects back on. Should he have done something different? Could he have? Did he do everything right? And the reality of it is you make decisions. They're not all right. And Jim Leland's managed so long. He understands that. It's really not. You can't be that much of a genius right there. You do what you know how to do, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, you reline and go again.
What was Sparky's message to try and keep you guys on edge and pushing toward all the way to the finish line?
Well, he warned us that we were susceptible, and he told us that the hard part was getting to the World Series, and the World Series was fun. And he was right. But we were highly motivated. Toronto wasn't that far behind us.
Barehanded stab and a beautiful play by Polanco. It ends a 1-2-3 fifth. Third time the Twins have set down the Tigers in order. This is about as good as it gets right there. Chevrolet's most dependable player is Reynaldo Rivera, who was tabbed by Whitecaps manager Lance Parrish, saying he is Superman strong. And when you hit a ball 412 feet against Cedar Rapids and you're only 21 years young, I guess it qualifies.
6 feet 6 inches, and this is a hard ballpark to hit home runs out of. We may have a mini Herman. You've heard me call him.
I heard you. Yeah, I heard you had to say that. Now, a mini Herman. What is a mini Herman? Is Matt Hall wall side windows pitching change brings the rookie left-hander. What is a mini Herman? That's not Herman Killebrew, is it?
No, no. Okay. My players, when I was with Arizona, we'd show clips in our advanced scouting meetings. Whenever they saw Mike Stanton, as his name at the time, they'd all say Herman, because he hit bombs and they loved it. Okay, so whenever it's Giancarlo right now, right?
Right.
So I just call him Herman. It's a compliment because he hits bombs. They're long. He does a very good job, and so Reynaldo Rivera could be the next Herman.
Gotcha.
He's big, 6'6", 250.
He was 6'3" at the age of 13. That's unfair for people who are average height. Thank you very much.
From Chipola Junior College. It's a pretty successful junior college. It won the JUCO World Series. He was a big part of that. He was the player of the year in JUCO, Florida Junior College.
And Tiger scouting director Scott Pleiss really likes him. Has liked him since he was in high school there in Puerto Rico.
He idolized Alex Rodriguez, Albert Pujols, and Josh Hamilton, so that's pretty good.
Guy's very productive. Might be Detroit's brightest first base prospect in the system. Maybe John Lester at Erie, but we have talked about middle infielders and this team gathering that type of skill. Wondering where the future first baseman might be. It just might be Reynaldo Rivera at the age of 21. Keep an eye out for him. Matt Hall gets a strikeout to start the 6th. And by the way, throughout the rest of the season, we'll continue to feature prospects. We call it Prospect Spotlight. It'll be Sunday against Kansas City, and then one in each game in the series at Minnesota and Milwaukee.
I've watched
Gibby's seen most of
many
those players,
of them, yeah. And it's it's really neat to watch him in a minor league stadium than to see him on a major league stadium, and I can understand how they feel. Matt Hall looks much better today. He had a real tough game against Cleveland not too long ago. Cleveland clinched that night. Was it 15-0? I mean, they got on him. Right. They got on him quick. He came in to shut him down. But this is what the cool thing is to watch how it goes now. He's coming back. He's being aggressive. He's throwing the ball good. I mean, this guy, he was the pitcher of the year in the Tigers minor league system.
Sure was. Mom's a teacher. He goes back and talks to his mom's class frequently. Kids get a big kick out of a big league baseball player going in there and talking to them about dreaming big. Live the dream. Go ahead. Go for it. What's wrong with that?
Dream as if it has already happened.
I asked Matt Hall, when did you think you knew you belonged? And he said, look, when I was at High A Lakeland, I knew I had good stuff. I knew I was getting guys out. Sky to right for Matuk. When did actually it's Jacoby Jones going to come over and make the play? When did you know you belonged, Gibby? You remember?
In the big leagues?
Yeah, that you could do it.
I guess I always felt I could as soon as I got drafted. I mean, anything that I ever did, I had the confidence when I failed to persevere through it and let people ridicule me, make fun of me, make note of my failures, and I would just always privately be saying to myself, We'll see. I'll be laughing soon. And I had a vision that I would do something good after many failures, and I still kind of adopt that same philosophy to this day.
One of the things that surprised me most about you is you only played 1 year of college baseball.
But I played up through high school. I was in Legion Ball. I was on a state championship team.
Yeah, but still, that's a big jump, especially to the Big Ten.
Yeah, it was a jump.
Yeah.
But whatever you do, you got to have confidence. You can't. It's hard not to doubt yourself sometimes because it gets so frustrating. We know we got bees today. Must be that foo-foo you got on, Shep.
Again, I think they're attracted to you because you're so sweet. Willens Astudillo, an RBI double last time up, and a 1-for-2 day.
Yeah, he's over there with you now.
Yeah, he is.
How'd you know it was a he?
Because he won't leave me alone.
Just gonna let him sting me.
That'll show him.
Well, some bees get one sting, so you got to sacrifice sometimes.
You're willing to take that, huh?
Serious business.
What did mom and dad do for you? Put mud on it? That's what my mom used to do. If I was stung by a bee, we just put mud on it.
My dad said, "Suck it up." No, seriously. If some of you guys see bees down in the ground, they watch them. They're mean.
Yeah, they're really bad.
And they're mobilizing. You can see a lot of nests up in the trees now, up against your house.
Look out, that's foul. Astudillo turned on that too quickly.
I've got several sized up to say hi to.
Well, when you and I are cutting the grass, that's when you really get spooked a little bit by some of those bees that burrow in the ground.
Yeah, if you
be careful there.
Go in something like a bale of hay or something, they make nests in there.
To short, no problem for Cosma. He's got really good range. And a good inning for Matt Hall. We get rid of the bees. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. Try to stay clean here. By Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall. With Kirk Gibson and Johnny Kane, Mickey York and Craig Monroe, our entire Fox Sports Detroit crew, I'm Matt Shepard. Glad you spent part of your Sports Wednesday with us. Tigers trailing 6-zip. Minnesota plating 4 in the second, 2 in the fourth off starter and rookie Spencer Turnbull. Detroit hoping to generate some offense here with Pete Kozma, Jacoby Jones, and Kristen Stewart.
Yeah, Tiger bats have been pretty quiet today. One hit again. This was the same as yesterday. A lot of ground balls.
Well, this game break is brought to you by Dodge. Last night, one of the hardest throwers in the league. Cardinals pitcher Jordan Hicks threw a 100-mile-per-hour sinker to strike out Ozzie Albies of the Braves in the 7th. Probably the nastiest pitch of 2018. Cardinals have won 3 in a row. Braves have lost 4 in a row, by the way.
We saw him here. He was pretty impressive, but the movement, huh? Wow.
That's what makes it difficult. Not just the 100 miles per hour, but wow. St. Louis has won 8 straight in Atlanta, by the way. If you date back to 2016, that's the best run they've had in a road game against the Braves since 1968. Jacoby Jones with his first base knock of the day, and the second for the Tigers. Gibby, what about you? What's the nastiest pitch you faced in your career?
Screwball. I think the first time I saw a screwball, nobody throws them. I think Mike Norris was throwing them to me. Then Gaylord Perry threw me some pretty good spitters. Yeah, those are things you don't see very often. So Jacoby on again, and here's Kristen Stewart's first home run of his young career.
Let's hope. Jacoby Jones, a base stealing threat. A wave and a miss by Stewart. Hit by a pitch in the first, grounded to second in the third. He's hit safely in 6 of his 8 games.
Hang it, he's due. Hit by pitch, ground out. And now the big fly's coming.
Held off, but it was on the outside corner. Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch. Steven Gonsalves, a high of 94. Off-speed stuff, low is 72.
Got to keep anything close. Got to get a piece of it. Always get in situations like this, especially he's a younger guy. You're probably going to see more breaking balls than normal. Felt like he got a call earlier from Jerry Lane, so he went right back to it. It does make you susceptible to the fastball, though.
Poked foul.
Good save.
He's done that pretty well, hasn't he? Extended at bats because of that ability.
Yeah, the way you watch, he's just going to get a piece of this. I think he's probably really battling to shorten the stroke up and not strike out. He'll continue to refine that. Good swing there, but good location.
How do you judge that to be a good swing if he follows it back?
Because he's not pulling off and he's not out of his front foot. Guy's keeping it away. He's right on the outside corner. He had a good aggressive swing and he just got a piece.
Right back up the middle. Could be 2 though. Second double play turned by the Twins today, and it gets them out of the 6th.
That's a good at bat. I'm here to tell you.
At Comerica Park this Saturday when the Tigers take on the Royals at 6:10. Purchase a special ticket package that includes a game ticket, voucher for a Sharifa Halal Knockwurst, and a donation to Leaders Advancing and Helping Communities.
So when we went out there, Kristen Stewart hit into a double play, and I said, good AB. Did you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I think you're right.
He
Not every good at bat ends in a hit.
Yeah, well, he got 2 strikes. He fouled a couple off, right? But that swing there, he saw it good. It was about outer third. He hit a bullet right to the shortstop, and nothing you can really do about it. They pick it up, and this is the beauty of the game right now.
Matt Hall working his second inning. The 6th was a 1-2-3 frame for him.
Now look he just hit a bullet. He knows he had a good AB. What's he thinking about right now? Is he thinking about the hit, or is he thinking about, I got to be ready for a ball to be hit?
You hope he's ready for defense.
He's thinking about both. He's saying, man, you kidding me?
Hey, you struck up some conversation, Gibby, when you mentioned bat day.
Why?
Because somebody tweeted at me and said that they lined up their bats from bat day when they were a kid. Al Kaline, Jim Northrup among them. How cool. Gates Brown was one of them. How cool is that?
I just remember they looked like kind of a lightish color, almost yellow.
Now that's what those Louisville Sluggers are from.
And I remember the smell.
Lex.
And the ends of them are all beat up. Everybody used to beat the cement.
That's great.
Mine were broke quickly.
I bet they were. You're not supposed to use them, you're supposed to collect them.
Oh yeah, no, you use them. You take them right down in the field, make a baseball field.
No, you use them in the backyard with your friends. You don't use them in games and things.
Yeah, no, I didn't say games. I'm saying down in the field. You go down like the play field. You throw a couple socks down for some bases.
Yeah. What was that corner diamond for you and your buddies in Waterford?
Well, we used to go to Monteith Junior Elementary School, Pierce Junior High, Kettering, but we just go out on the field, just make one, just trample the weeds down.
Right.
All kind of different games. What was the one where you threw the ball? You had to throw the ball and hit the bat. What'd they call that?
I don't remember that. What we used to use, I don't know if you remember the game Gnip. Do you remember that?
No.
They had 3 plastic balls that you'd have to get through a plastic circle, and you would win that game. We would take that game apart, grab those Gnip balls, and use those in our backyard because you could use them in so many different ways.
Okay, here's the easy out. Here's the best game I ever played with baseball. It's called half rubber.
Okay.
So you get a rubber ball.
Like a stick ball, like a racket ball.
Rubber ball. No, a solid rubber ball.
Okay.
And then you cut it in half, and you take a broomstick, and you can throw by, depending on what way you put the curve, you can make that thing. That's how you learn how to hit breaking balls. That thing can break 30 feet and 30 feet.
Never heard of that.
Yeah.
We used to play stick ball, obviously, with a racquetball in the street.
Yeah, but that's hollow. You see, you understand, if you cut it in half, you've got that curved portion. If you put it up, it'll rise. If you put it down, it'll go down. If you put it on the side, it'll start way behind your head.
Did you teach your boys to play that game too?
We played it. We used to play it up at Harson's Island. So if you had to run and jump in the water.
Sure.
That was a home run.
That's great. I love it.
So I don't know. Maybe
I taught my kids to play stickball. They played at night. We'd take 2 cars and kind of, park them in front of one another to add some lights to it. It'd be fun. It's always fun.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Bring the neighborhood kids out. Have some lemonade and pizza outside, and then play stickball.
Lemonade. Did you sell it or did you drink it?
No, we just drank it. First walk issued by Matt Hall, coming with 2 down here in the 7th. Hey, fans, join us tomorrow as the Tigers host Kansas City for the last home series of the season. All of your game coverage begins with Tigers Live at 6. That's tomorrow. Tigers and Royals at 6 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Also got some feedback on those bee stings, by the way. Somebody sent me a tweet and said, my dad always told me to put beer on a bee sting.
Beer?
To make it go away, yeah.
I don't know about that. I try and stay away from them.
Just get away from the bees. That avoids everything, doesn't it?
Well, but you need them. They pollinate, need bees, need frogs, need butterflies.
You and Mother Nature.
Well, just go out and watch it someday. You'll learn a lot.
Oh. I know. I've seen the pictures from you. You love getting up in the morning and just soaking in as much nature as you can.
Peace and quiet. No politics.
On your walks, right?
Try and get 5 in.
You and Joanne?
Got to do my exercises. Got to get those knees up. Got to get the elbows pumping just like you. Just like these guys in the field. You guys feel like they're getting slower? What makes your legs move, Shep?
Action. Speed.
Your arms.
Oh, okay.
Arms go, legs go. You ever run on the beach?
Try to avoid that. Like to sleep on the beach.
There he goes.
Job by Matt Hall to bounce back. That's his second strikeout, and he sends the Twins back to the dugout, but they still lead at 6-0. Coming up, the Consumers Energy 7th inning stretch. MLB at Bat is your #1 Detroit Tigers app. Customize your experience to catch every moment. Get Detroit Tigers home screen icons and features such as live radio broadcast, the MLB.TV game of the day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Tigers with just 2 hits on the day. Nicholas Castellanos has 1 of them. He'll be followed by Mikey Matuk and Ronnie Rodriguez. The offensive struggles continue.
They do. They got a lot on their mind. There's a lot of mandates.
He goes the other way. Max Kepler takes care of business. 1 down.
Working on a lot of things, a lot of suggestions late in the year.
Sports can be strange, can't they? I mean, 2 out of 3 against the division champion Indians, and then you come back against a Minnesota team that is struggling to get to 500 at 70 and 81 on the year, and you're down 6-0 after losing the first 2 games.
Well, there's different dynamics, I guess, that we'll never know why it happens. But the lineup is a little short. You have some injuries. Yeah, there's some games are being played with making decisions in mind.
Matuk fouls it down the right field line. Too far of a run for Tyler Austin.
But when we played Cleveland, we played Houston, it seemed like their lineups were really deep and long, and that they had pressure on you throughout their lineups. And
no doubt.
that's the goal.
Yep.
Nothing against any of these guys. They're all busting their tails. But there's a certain level that you got to go to. And they're trying to push themselves into it. But they have not been able to match the Minnesota Twins.
Every manager, every coach is better when they have a lot of talent, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Little tapper that Minnesota will watch go foul.
You know, you've got to really be a student of what's going on when you're on a baseball diamond. We were talking about our conversation the other day with Tram. We went out and had a late night snack and some conversation about baseball. The Tram is so intense. We're sitting here looking, we're talking about relays and we're talking about double plays and hops, and you know, he always takes it to the next level. It's about, you know, we were talking about reading those hops.
Yeah.
It's like,
and the short hops, the medium hops, and the high hops.
Why do somebody always get good hops and some people don't?
Positioning, footwork.
Positioning, footwork is two things. But when you stand on the infield with Alan Trammell, the ball's hit, he looks and he knows exactly where the best hop is. He sits and he'll ask these kids the same thing. But you just really have to acquire how you do that. It's not going to come overnight.
Well, it's about reading where the ball is coming off the bat too. Ron Gardenhire talked to us about that too. How he's trying to get his young players to be able to read how the ball is coming off the bat. And how do you do that? You can practice it. You practice it by taking infield and by being out there during batting practice, and not just fielding grounders. There's a difference between fielding grounders and taking infield practice.
Well, you can be standing out there watching the ball, or you can, when it's hit, immediately put yourself to where you think. You don't have to necessarily do it physically. You can do it mentally. Just watch and anticipate where it's going to go. You'll get better.
Tough play. Arianza makes it look easy. Tigers go 1-2-3 in the 7th. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory.
Snapper City.
What is this?
Look at that thing laying eggs. That was in the spring.
Is that from you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Protect those snappers. You got those raccoons get after those snappers.
Oh yeah.
They're eggs.
You see them a lot at your ranch?
In the spring you do.
You and David Wells and Alan Trammell who go out there quite a bit?
At times. Sometimes you just need to pull back away from the game, and then just sometimes good things unfold. So we're trying to do right here. I did send a B video. I don't know if we'll get that turned around, but we try. You know, I go off a little bit, but we also got a little instructional video coming up. We've been working on some things. Stay tuned.
Tough play, Rodriguez. Nice grab by Adducey.
Did Adducey tag him?
Don't think so. Pulled him off the bag. It's a tough play. Barehanded stab by Rodriguez.
It looked like he caught him right on the body. Stop it right. Oh, he just missed him.
It's a nice play by Adducy. We've seen him make a few plays over the last week or so.
He's not a first baseman, but he's really improved. I mean, this is the kind of player he is. He's asked to do something where the Tigers have been short, and he gets better by the day.
Brings up Max Kepler. Kepler playing in his 148th game of the season. That is 6th most in the American League.
Robbie Grossman's had what a series. Yesterday it was 3 walks and a hit batsman. I think today he's got 3 singles.
He does, and a run scored.
And when you look in the box score.
To Adducy. Decides to take it himself. Brings up Tyler Austin. He's had another nice game and a really strong series. 4 for 7 in the series. With 3 RBIs, a couple of runs scored, and a 2 for 3 day today. Caught the inside edge. Matt Hall has settled in nicely.
He's having a good, much better outing than he did the first time out. He's much more comfortable. That's why you do it. 1 hit and 2 in the 3rd.
Gets away from McCann. And up goes Robbie Grossman to 3rd. Wild pitch charge to Matt Hall.
Let's take a look. It hit him. Did it not hit the hit batter?
I don't think so.
What did it hit?
It hit the inside of James McCann's left shin guard and then the right side. Right. 1-2. Austin didn't agree with it. Matt Hall's best known for his curveball. I asked him this morning if that can be a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be known as a soft tosser. Stroke down the right field line foul. Doesn't bother him. He admits that the curveball has helped him to get to where he is.
So why would nobody? You wouldn't want to be a soft tosser?
I don't think so.
Why?
I don't know. The whole.
Just hearing the guys going, throw the ball, man. Come on, throw me a changeup.
It's all about masculinity, isn't it?
No, I'd like it. I'd like it. People. I had a weak arm. I didn't care.
To left, but foul.
But he might be a soft tosser. It's getting your butt out. There you see it. Independence, Missouri, 25 years old. He has moved up through the organization year by year. He's had really good years.
And a big Royals fan growing up.
Got
Grew up about 10 miles away from Kauffman Stadium. He's also a big Kansas City Chiefs fan. It's a 1-2 pitch. Good backhand stop by James McCann. I did mess around with Matt Hall a little bit. I said, knowing that you're a Chiefs fan, who's got a better arm, you or Patrick Mahomes? And he said, oh, there's no doubt about it. Patrick Mahomes. Punch to right. Matuk drifting back. Makes the catch on the warning track. Another run home for the Twins. And now 2 down here in the 8th.
Okay, this was no need. But we're going to go back in the game. We're going to show you how the cutoff man here. Jacoby, go ahead. He come home now. Watch. He has got to watch this guy, and the throw's good. He's got either one of these guys right here, and that's how you get out of innings. He did jump up and deke good, and ideally you want to throw. Here's the other play. He comes down, stop it right there. And look at these guys are reading. He's not going to go. He's not going to go. And then he misses the ball and each advance. So that's how you get into bigger innings. Like a bad play can turn into a positive play if you can get it out. Remember Jay last night was talking about that.
Long run for Stewart. Won't get there. Adrianza with a stand-up 2-out double. Yeah, really informative conversation with Jay Sorotari, the analyst, numbers cruncher, whatever you want to call him, from last night with the Tigers.
It's about outs, he said, right?
Yeah, learned a lot. Really enjoyed it. I think a lot of people did during our telecast last night. Analytics is so big into sports these days, and he took a very unique path in his road to the show, which was our theme last night. Astudillo with an RBI double in the fourth, sandwiched around a couple of grounders to short.
Again, Gardy leaving these youngsters out here, giving them some innings, some pitches. Every time they come out, they'll feel more comfortable. They'll be able to buy into the program.
Slice to right, in for a base hit, and another run home for the Twins, and they make it 8-0 now.
Yeah, and the Twins have done a heck of a job with situational hitting. Runners in scoring position. They're 4 for 8 on the day. That's going to be it, Matt Hall.
A couple of Tigers rookie pitchers getting some hard life Major League Baseball learning moments on this Wednesday afternoon.
First major league start, gave up 6 earned runs in 4 innings pitched. Twins offense, look at there, multiple RBIs. Steven Gonsalves, the primary pitcher, came in the second inning, 6 scoreless innings.
How about the 6, 7, and 8 hitters from Minnesota today? Blaine Hardy is the latest arm out of the Tigers bullpen in this wall-side windows pitching change.
Tigers have been behind this whole series.
Tough to play catch up, isn't it?
Yeah. With these circumstances, is even tougher.
Up the middle and a nice grab by Lugo to end the inning. But the Twins score 2 more in the 8th, and they lead by 8 here in Detroit.
Hold true moment. The primary pitcher comes in and he's really given the Tigers trouble. 7 scoreless innings since he's come in. I heard that he didn't have good control, but it's been impeccable. He's got the curveball, Snapdragon, 12-6. Got Aducci on the fastball away. Gonsalves, pretty good day-to-day against the Tigers. 6 innings, a hit, a walk, 4 strikeouts. Started the plated ERA, but he's done a good job holding the Tigers down. And Addison Reed is the new pitcher. 54th game. I had him down in Arizona. He's been with the Mets. Strike thrower, fastball slider. He can give it up. So let's have a comeback. 8-0. Tigers go to the bottom of the 8th.
The 300 batting average against him is the highest of his career. His strikeouts 7 per 9, the lowest of Addison Reed's career.
See a little bit of what Gardy's talking about, the fundamentals and things that you do at given time. McCann taking that pitch all the way. Gardy's, that's kind of old school. I think he asked those guys to take a strike.
McCann, Aducci, and Lugo due up for the Tigers here in the 8th. Reed in Arizona with Gibby in 2014-15. Gets a strikeout of James McCann here to start the 8th. Ram picked the stick update.
Backpedaling again.
Look out. Only 2 on the positive side of the ledger. One Johnny Kane and yours truly. I got a chance to catch some ground with Mickey York, who's taking a tumble.
You know who's at bat? And we got a cheering section over here. They're cheering for my man Jim Aducey.
The Deuce.
Who's got a chance to get me some points right here.
Did you buy all those kids a hot dog?
Well, not now.
They want a refund.
Not now.
There's going to be some 8-year-old walking up to his mom and dad saying, "That man just promised me a hot dog if I cheered and picked Jim Aducey."
I'm sorely disappointed, kids. That's another hard life lesson.
Hey, did you notice, Johnny, that Mickey York, despite the 40-plus point lead, has been very quiet during Ram Pick the Stick update?
He has been.
I recognize I had a -4 day today. That's all right. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you're the bug, and other days you're the windshield. Today I'm the bug.
Oh, Nicky.
Well played. I believe the third pick at least has a point. Surprising that it was there for me. Craig Monroe's thoughts?
-1, Shep, with Ronnie Rodriguez. That's my thoughts.
You left it there for me.
No, but again, I was like
you're a team player, I know.
It's the reverse.
I hear you.
I was trying to will myself to get Nick some points.
You're a good man.
Run the 1-800-CALL Sam updates from the previous 2 games of this series because we've said the same thing every day. Just not a lot going on for the offense.
Mick, make it stop already. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I've looked at some swings. They're chasing pitches out of the strike zone. Guys are trying hard, maybe trying a little too hard. But we're going to have to dive into it on the post-game show anyway, so you might as well stick around and hear what I have to say.
All right, well, we'll come up with some sort of solution. Now, we'll also catch up with Spencer Turnbull in the clubhouse. His thoughts after a rocky first Major League start this afternoon. And what did Ron Gardenhire think of his team's swings today? All that coming up after the game on Tigers Live, guys.
Mick, they've been outscored 19-4 in this series by this Minnesota squad.
A lot of ground balls and some strikeouts, so it's obvious, but you gotta keep working and trying to find something.
Forsythe to the left center field gap, but a little shallow and unable to make the play is Kristen Stewart. Forsythe hustling into second for a leadoff double.
He traveled quite a ways right there, almost all the way over to center field. Take a look at his route right here. Looked like he might have hit it off the bat a little bit.
Yeah, got it off the end of the bat.
Unfortunately, it goes off the end of his glove towards right field. So it turns into a double.
Away from Jacoby Jones, who was backing up the play. It's the right play made, just a bad bounce. Here's Jorge Polanco. They've actually handled him today. 3 flyouts and a walk. coming into the game, batting .385 over his last 12 games. .335 against lefties this year for Polanco. One and two to him.
Tigers looking to get out of this 8th inning, find a way to come back and have a 9-8 victory.
Steep climb.
Then they start a 4-game series tomorrow versus Kansas City.
Minnesota, in the meantime, looking for a winning record in this ballpark this year. 4-4 against the Tigers at Comerica Park. In tight, counts full.
You know, Blaine Hardy had such a good start as a starter for the Tigers this year, went on the disabled list and is trying to get back into form.
Third appearance against the Twins this year for Blaine Hardy.
Had a real good sinker going. The slider was outstanding, along with the changeup. He's got a very good changeup. Uses it mostly against righties, right-handed hitters.
Polanco fouls it back right in front of us. Remains 3-2.
Love to catch one of those balls in the stands right there. At least get a shot. Had an opportunity next door today. It's a youngster. Did you used to run around, try and beat guys to the baseball?
I did not, but what we used to do is go early for BP.
Oh,
that was right at Polanco, who just
swung
fended off. Yeah, the pitch that was coming right toward him. It's almost a natural reaction to try and get out of the way and use the bat to protect yourself.
That's definitely in there. Good job of getting a little bite of that. Almost got his hands. It's a foul ball. 3-2.
To center field. It'll be Mikey Matuk.
Boy, that was scary there.
It was, because it looked like Jacoby Jones had a beat on it the entire way.
Take a look overhead right here. Looks like Mikey kept calling. You see Jacoby's calling it, and then Mikey took it, and actually it was. You don't ever want to get into a collision going that fast out in the outfield.
Well, you always wonder that, because Matuk enjoys patrolling center field. You have two guys right there, former LSU Tigers, but both used to taking control in the outfield. As Jake Cave stands in, strikeout victim twice in 4 at-bats. It's the right call, though, right, Gibby? I mean, Matuk had his body behind it. He was ready to throw in case Forsythe was going to tag.
I would say if your center fielder's calling it, you got to defer to him. And, you know, I was just thinking about it. I'm guessing they have instructional ball down in Florida. They have the dorm down there, where many of the players gather, and the coaches, instructors. They're probably watching this game, looking at some things that need to be cleaned up. I mean, that got done, but it looked like it was closer than it should have been. It's an easy communicating ball that somebody should be peeling off a little earlier.
But as you've pointed out during our telecast in the past, at least Jacoby Jones peeled off, got out of the way.
Yeah, but they were close.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
were much
that would
closer than, yeah.
That would make me peak. Shouldn't have to do that.
2 down here in the 9th. Robbie Grossman.
I'm just saying that play right there, if you never dropped it all year, it never was a mistake, that's the expectation. Those relay throws, has to be your expectation. I mean, it's just, you have to take your time to throw it to the glove, and then you have to do it. If you need to run it 5 feet there, then do it. But you have to have the ability to redirect the ball from where it's thrown to anywhere going to home plate. So you can take it out. You got a free out, take it. It's right in front of you. You cut it, you throw, you cut the guy down. They get a run, but they're going to get that anyway. They're not going to get an extra freebie. It's one of my favorite words, freebie. You learned about it.
I did, playing ping pong with you. Grossman to left for Kristen Stewart. Tigers will bat in the 9th. They trail 8-0.
The 9th inning. Well, guys, how often do we hear about trades in baseball and we hear about a player to be named later, and then later comes and fans say, hey, who'd we ever get as part of that deal? Well, the Tigers recently announced within the last hour the second piece in the player to be named later deal with Mike Fiers in Oakland. They got 23-year-old right-hander Logan Shore, who is rated as their 14th best prospect in the Oakland organization. He joins the first player to be named later, a fellow right-hander named Nolan Blackwood, guys.
So more pitching, John, to strengthen.
Both pitching and both pretty good prospects.
Mike's done very well for Oakland.
Really good. And you would guess, guys, he's going to be pitching in the postseason. Right? I would guess Oakland.
New season for it, yes.
Yeah.
Got a new pitcher, Alan Busenitz. 22nd game, 23 1/3 innings. ERA's inflated. Good guy to get it going on. I mean, come on, can't we? Let's come back and win his 9-8.
Yeah, 2 hits. That's it for Detroit.
You can't mail it in.
Castellanos, a first inning single. Jacoby Jones, a 6th inning single. That's all they've been able to muster. Cosma strokes one to left. That's what they needed to lead off the 9th.
Listen to the cheers after the base hit. Never know, get a guy on, get another, get another. Next thing you know, the momentum changes in your favor.
He's got to string it together. Pete Cosmo with his 8th hit of the year. Turn the lineup over for Jacoby Jones, the leadoff man. 17th time that Jacoby Jones bats first in Ron Gardenhire's lineup this year.
You know, one of the things about these, quote, not good at bats.
Yeah.
That's when you make, say, if you chase, you make an out on a bad pitch. Those are usually balls, so that would normally be a 1-0, a 2-0 count, right? Then the next hitter, you swing at a ball out of the zone, and then so he's out 2 pitches that aren't strikes. Then he gets the next guy, does the same thing. Pretty soon the guy's throwing, the opponent's pitcher is throwing way less pitches. Just how it works. You grind them, you keep grinding them. Those balls, you quit chasing them, all of a sudden you got to walk, right? Then it happens again. Then you get a cookie down the middle and you've got to run.
1 down.
Let's look ahead to the weekend. We got the Kansas City Royals coming in. There's the upcoming pitching matchups presented by Wallside Windows. Boyd, Liriano, Zim, and Norris for the Tigers. 4-game series. Lopez, Kennedy, Junis, and Keller. And we have some activity going on the field that we won't show you. Tigers got a rebound from this series.
We had Matthew Boyd on earlier today.
Oh, he's out in the bullpen.
And Boyd told us what made him a little bit more successful this year than in the past, and become a little bit more of a strikeout pitcher.
So we're going to have a little delay here.
Meanwhile, Kristen Stewart waits.
Well, I think Jerry Lane wants to roll with it, but we've got a gate open out there.
Yeah, you got to close the left center field gate, which leads to the Twins bullpen. Never understood why people want 10 seconds of fame to head to jail, but
well,
he's got it now.
He doesn't want to go. He's going to be.
Youthful foolishness. How about this for our showstopper? Blake Snell, a 20-win campaign, tied with David Price for most in Rays history. Struck out 5 Rangers en route to his major league leading 20th.
98 mile an hour. Did you see that? Big old lefty. Had the big old curveball as well. Cy Young candidate.
He also recorded his 200th strikeout. Tampa's now won 13 of 16 for what it's worth, and those are we think the candidates for the Cy Young.
Who's your pick?
Snell.
Really? Because of the 20 wins?
Not just that. I mean, I think all his numbers very competitive. I mean, what would you use as a criteria for anybody else in that situation? Chris Sale has been so dominant, but Chris Sale has also pitched about 6 games fewer than the others.
So that because he hasn't pitched enough, but he is on a winning team and he's been very dominant. How about JV?
Yeah, well, that's why he's in the discussion. I think Blake Snell, I think he's been very consistent all year. And remember, his team's winning too. They're just not winning the division.
Right. No, they're way behind.
Yeah, they've got 84, 85 knockouts. So, look, you and I talked the other day. Jacob deGrom, I believe, is the front runner in the National League. His team's not going anywhere, and he's got a 500 record.
I think there should be an award for both leagues.
Yes.
So it's like you have Snell and you have deGrom, and then you have an overall.
No, I think 1 per league is fine. The thing I wrestle with is whether or not a pitcher should be MVP, like Willie Hernandez was in '84 for example.
Justin Verlander was.
Yeah. Good at bat by Kristen Stewart. He's been on base a couple of times today. And here's Nicholas Castellanos. Chance to run into one. With runners at first and second and one down.
Listen to you. You're relentless. We don't need him to run into one. We need him to get on base and keep the line rolling.
Okay. I'm kind of playing for myself here, and Ram picked the stick. I'm not afraid to admit that.
You don't have to admit it. We know that.
I tipped my hand, didn't I? As he strode to the box. The other way. Get down in the corner. It will. Extra bases. One run is home. Castellanos chugs for second. He's there. A run is home for the Tigers. Castellanos with his 42nd double of the year. And he drives in his 82nd run to make it 8-1.
Good boy, Nick. It's amazing. He's had 2 bad days all year. This isn't one of them. The day that I had him was, but Tigers, this is how these things go right here. You start picking away. You get a guy on, the line starts rolling, and you get that feel. The pressure goes back on them, back on the Twins.
52nd multi-hit effort from Nick Castellanos this year, 3rd best in the American League. Here's Mikey Matuk. Six homers in his last 20.
He's due today.
1-1. It's a double sports dip here on Fox Sports Detroit and in downtown Detroit. The preseason opener for Jeff Blashill and the Red Wings taking on the Penguins. Check out Michael Rasmussen.
You like him?
I do. Big body, stand in front.
It's a big boy, huh?
He's got good hands. Don't think you'll see Philip Zadina tonight or Thomas Vanek, struggling a little bit with some groin injuries. Nothing too serious. I'm kind of excited to see the lines that Blashill puts together. Philip Hronek on defense, Dennis Chalowski on defense. See how these young guys improve throughout the preseason. Matuk, opposite way, in foul territory and into row 3.
Well, this is their first exhibition game, correct?
It is, but for some reason or another, I think these exhibition games might be a little bit more important than they have been in the past because of the youth.
Important to get off to the right start.
Just because guys are trying to convince the coaching staff they are who they are and make this team, and some of these young guys have to make this team. And if they can be a better goal-scoring team than they were a year ago, a better power play unit than they were a year ago. Dan Bilesma, Michigan native, Stanley Cup winning coach, now on Jeff Blashill's staff. Three-2 pitch to Mata. To center field. Jake Cave concedes the run. Stewart stumbled for a moment. Both runners advance. Sacrifice fly for Mikey Matuk.
He actually fell down, didn't he?
Did.
It looked like he was getting on the base in a track starter's block, and I think he slipped. Oh, he went back and touched the bag. See, the umpire was right there looking at him too. Ooh, interesting technique there. You got to make sure you're on the bag when he catches it, so you tag.
Leaves it up to Ronnie Rodriguez. A couple of groundouts to third. And a strikeout swinging in the 4th. To short. And for the 6th time this year, Minnesota sweeps the series. 8-2 the final. Send it to the Call Sam studio. Mickey York and Craig Monroe standing by for Tigers Live postgame.
All right, Shep, thank you very much. Just 6 runs in 3 days. We'll go in search of the Tigers' missing offense coming up on Tigers Live. Spencer Turnbull on the lessons learned in his first major league start when we catch up with him in the clubhouse. How the shift hurt the Tigers today, and Ron Gardenhire on getting swept by his former club next in a postgame edition of Tigers Live.